Hello everyone and welcome to the second relegation match in the Intel Extreme Masters Season 2 Finals. We already know that 3 of the top 4 players of this entire tournament are going to be Grubby, Todd and Lin, and the winner of this best of 3 is going to join them, whereas the loser is going to be out of the tournament. We are seeing an undead mirror here with Protois, the German undead, in yellow, spawning at the top left of TM, starting with a Fiend build, and his opponent with the same opening from South Korea is Lucifer in red at the bottom right, the second ranked player of Group B. So yeah, as both of them are gonna start with Fiends here and a DK first, I guess we can expect quite the boring early and mid game. I don't really see, I mean, given that it's Twisted Meadows and they have spawned cross positions, there isn't really a great incentive for any one of them to go out too far across the map, too far onto the map to challenge any certain creep camps of their opponent. So yeah, most likely we're just gonna see some creeping in the beginning and not all too much action, at least initially, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out eventually. The altars are both soon to finish, and yeah, as I said, I'm expecting a death knight first, of course, on both sides. So let's take a look at Protois' altar first. There's the DK for Lucifer, whose cigarette is slightly slower here. There's the DK as well. Of course, this minor difference is not at all going to, or should not at all impact the game significantly. Second cigarette on both sides started. Slight difference in the building placement here on both sides. Lucifer with this cigarette, which potentially could turn into an Nerubian tower, is going to have a little bit more control over this area in front of his main, whereas Protois is just positioning his cigarettes very, very passively. But other than that, a completely similar match thus far. Both actually are sending out their first Fiend to scout, not to pull creeps or anything like that. And interestingly, both are scouting the bottom left spawn position here. Of course, okay, and both of them see that there is no undead spawning here. I mean, of course, there's always a slight chance of like a Lich first and ghouls. I mean, not even that slight of a chance, quite frankly. But I mean, this scouting, I'm not exactly the greatest expert on undead mirror. I mean, this scouting could also in a Fiend mirror, you know, have something to do with the potential creep route options that both of the players have available to themselves. For example, I'm imagining that both of them could potentially shoot for this or both of these camps, and by confirming that the opponent hasn't spawned here, they know that these camps will likely to be available eventually for them when they want to creep them. So yeah, very common basically approach to check certain spawn positions for certain creep routes. I mean, Twisted Meadows, of course, still a very much used map in competitive Warcraft 3, but also on other maps like Norwood, for example. A very much necessary endeavor that had to be taken. And actually, Lucifer is the first one to head out on the map here to perhaps try and challenge Protois here a little bit. Protois pretty quickly going for the mercenary camp, which is not at all surprising, which, you know, I would have expected both of them to do, but actually Lucifer, yeah, seems to feel like he's up for some straight up fighting, and this first Fiend is getting into a lot of trouble here quite quickly. If I'm seeing this correctly, the creeps got the last hit here, but Protois is losing a Fiend pretty early on. Not at all, of course, what he wanted to have happen here. Pretty unfortunate movement of the creeps to basically wall off the path of that Fiend to get back to the north to the rest of the yellow army. Now Protois has repositioned a little bit though. Getting another, or is he even gonna get the kill here? Yeah, no, actually Lucifer got the kill. both of them having plenty of time there, but Lucifer just narrowly gets the kill. And of course, now it's gonna be about the rock golem, so there you see how far I got with my predictions. We're 5 minutes in, and the first big creep is being contested here. Neither of them, of course, really wants to start chewing away those hit points unless he's got complete control over this area, but neither of them is, of course, going to be willing to give that to their opponent as too easily. Now, Lucifer's Death Knight is being cut off from the rest of the army. He hasn't really taken all too much damage, though, so for the time being, he can afford this. Is he going to try to run all the way around the forest? Looks like that is not the case. He's turning around right now. Protois is chasing away those fiends for the time being. Rock Golem also starts participating again. By the way, in the meantime, Protois' attack is soon to finish. Another fiend is coming. Lucifer's attack a tiny bit behind. But they will be starting to get that tier 2 stuff into production at about the same timing. Protois is going to have his Lich out a little bit earlier. And given that we're very close to Protois' base, his second hero is going to join the fight quite a bit earlier. So I'm not really sure if this aggression of Lucifer has reached its expiration date, but it will reach its expiration date eventually. So we're retreating very far here. So it looks like we may be seeing Protois finally finishing the creep camp here. Looks like Lucifer is conceding for the time being. I mean, it's not like he did terrible here or anything. I mean, keep in mind he killed one of the fiends, or he got at least the creeps to kill one of the fiends of Protois. He delayed Protois by a bit. The players are about equal in supply. I'm a bit surprised that he went back to the main with his entire army here, instead of just positioning here and starting to pull stuff already. But it looks like that's just what he's going to be doing right now. And what is Protois going to do? Apply pressure on his own right now, or continue creeping? It looks like continue creeping is the answer. Wand of Mana Stealing, Gauntlets of Ogre Strength found for the German. Tier 3 is halfway finished for him. Lich is coming. No Slaughterhouse just yet. Doesn't have the lumber. And Lucifer, the first one to reach level 3 here, but Protois is going to follow shortly with his next creep kill. Let's see what Lucifer got. The big mana potion and Gauntlets of Ogre Strength, so a little bit more fortunate with his item drop compared to his opponent. And Lucifer is going for the same stuff here. Once again, his tier 3 tech a little bit slower. His Lich is out right now. So is Protois' Lich, and neither of them does get the Slaughterhouse just yet. But Lucifer does have the resources right now. There it comes. Protois should not quite be there just yet. Okay, never mind. There should be the Slaughterhouse as well. Still, pretty much, yeah, a very, very similar match on both sides. Mirror match worthy of the name, and there is the Lich coming on the side of Lucifer. And Protois' Lich, I'm not really sure where it is. There it's joining, but were there 2 fiend kills? Yeah, 2 fiend kills for Lucifer already. Protois sleeping a little bit here, and that's, yeah, giving, yeah, slowly but surely a serious edge to the Korean. Wand of Mana Stealing used here for the first time on Lucifer's Lich. Still, there is another Nova available. Fiend is running already. Coil coming very early. Of course, the Fiends at this stage are falling quite quickly. The next Fiend of Protois has fallen. Lucifer still hasn't lost anything. It's 6 Fiends in total right now against only 3 Fiends of Protois. One of his Fiends got surrounded here. Both of them are being coiled right now. The DK of Protois has 1 more coil. Lucifer, yeah, spending his last one right now, but he's got the greater mana potion, which he's using right now. Next Fiend is being coiled, and Protois is out of mana on his Death Knight. Dark Ranger added already by Lucifer. Protois didn't get the chance to do so as he didn't have access to the tavern. Protois is gonna have to run here, and he is gonna have to take this into the very, very late game and hope to come back there, because at the moment Lucifer got complete map control. Lucifer can do whatever he wants, and Protois, the only fight he may be able to win is with his base as a backup. But alright, Lucifer continues creeping for the time being. Gets the shop here. By the way, Protois, whatever he found here, he sold. I think there was the Vampiric Aura, if I remember it correctly. Lucifer with an XP tome and the Robe of the Magi for the Lich. So yeah, he's getting quite great items here so far. Continues creeping out on the middle of the map. That's also kind of late game minded. Keep in mind, like, Protois has to creep the stuff close to his base right now. Lucifer is creeping out on the map, even on Protois' half, if you want to call it that. Looks like he may even dare to go for the natural of his opponent. DK of Protois scouting this though. Oh, not pulling back here nearly as quick as he should have. Excuse me, costing him about half of his hit points. Lucifer just continues creeping, by the way. 1-0 attack upgrades on both sides. Of course, tier 3 long finished for both of them. Another statue spawning for Protois, who has added a Cryptlord third here. No Dark Ranger for him. And he is still on the run as Nova coming in. The Fiends aren't really getting all too close to follow that Nova up with anything significant. It looks like Lucifer is just gonna keep his mana for the time being. Misrallied one of the statues here. Slow of the Main, of course, lasts for a very, very long time. Finally, some success for Protois here. So 50 supply for both. Lucifer with a bit more of a bank. He, well, bought an Invul. He's, well, okay, getting the third attack upgrade already. Protois doesn't even get the second one, so there we see some of the additional resources of Lucifer flowing in. So level 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2 is what he's gonna have after this camp. Well, if he's allowed to creep it, but Protois is out for blood, going for the creep check here. Orb of Darkness for the Dark Ranger, I guess, will be sold eventually. Impale is coming in by Protois. Lucifer is trying to reposition here, but this is a, excuse me, this is a very, very awkward position, and he decides to town portal out very quickly. The second Fiend is surviving just by a hair, and it looks like Protois may be fighting his way back into this game. He's gonna get the majority of this creep camp. I mean, not the item, but the item was, well, not great anyways, to say the least, for Lucifer. Perhaps Protois is going to be getting the chance to catch up in experience here a little bit. I mean, of course, Lucifer is by no means behind here, to say the least. By the way, Energy Pendant is what he must have found up here, so another good item for the Korean. Alright, Skeleton sees the scouting. In the meantime, we do have the anticipated level 432 on the side of Lucifer. Protois with 321, but he's gonna get the next red camp here. Perhaps something great, such as Spell Shield, Staff of Silence, Wand of, Pendant of Mana, Khadgar's Gem of Health. Really, for the undead heroes, there are hardly any bad items on this camp. Lucifer managed to get one of those. Protois, we're still waiting for what he's gonna find here. Alright, and Talisman of Evasion for Lucifer at the bottom. And it's a Staff of Silence for Protois, who has now equalized in hero levels for the time being. But Lucifer on every single one of his heroes a bit ahead in terms of XP, so all of these level ups are going to be happen more quickly than the same level ups on the side of Protois. So Tomo experience for Protois right now as well. But just as I said, his Cryptlord is reaching level 3, Dark Ranger not quite there yet. And the Flute of Accuracy. So map is soon to be crept entirely, except for the islands and a couple of camps. And Protois town portaling here quite quickly. Lucifer not even really positioned yet, but looks like he may have gotten a little bit overly scared there. And Protois is going double crypt, by the way. Mass Fiend production. 59 supply for him, 57 for Lucifer. By the way, 2-0 in the meantime finished for the German, 3-0 about to finish as well. Yeah, Lucifer adding an Abomination, which against the mass fiends that he's gonna face certainly seems to make sense. Another camp being crept here, and I believe this is the last big camp that's entirely remaining on the mainland at least. And then there's not going to be all too much left to creep, and perhaps we'll see a little bit more of a, you know, combative approach by both of them. So Lucifer is closing in on this one. The Rock Golem is definitely going to fall here. Sobi Mask for Protois. He does carry a Town Portal. Getting into position for a fight though, perhaps. Yeah, Staff of Silence still on the Death Knight. The Fiend is a little bit very far up front. Silence on the Death Knight of Protois. The first of his Fiends is falling. The second one is in trouble. Impale hitting quite nicely here. Still no unit of Lucifer has fallen just yet. The next Fiend is in some trouble. Is burrowed just in time though. Dust used. Another Fiend of Protois is falling. This one is in trouble. The first Fiend of Lucifer, well, still hasn't fallen if I'm seeing this correctly. But a lot of damage output is coming in. Actually, there's a Fiend Corpse of Lucifer. Another one is falling. Another one is being sacrificed by the Lich. Another Fiend of Protois is falling as well. Those Fiends are just falling like flies at this point. The damage output is so great on both sides. Lucifer is having the bigger army remaining though. Clearly, as Fiend after Fiend of Protois is falling. Only 2 are left right now. Lucifer at least with 3 Fiends and 2 Abominations in his army, which are going to do great in those skirmishes where the number of units becomes lower and lower. Protois' Lich is in some trouble. Invo Potion has to be used. The next Burrowed Fiend of Lucifer is being taken down. Protois is the one who's forced to run right now though. Excuse me. Fiend is being sacrificed by the Lich. Protois has to run. Only his heroes and statues remaining. Lucifer with still a bunch of units. And an expansion, which is also, yeah, something worth mentioning, of course. As I said, the map is pretty much crapped right now. Lucifer can get level 5 on his DK. Gonna be 5 for 3. Protois perhaps has sniffed this out, and these Acolytes are gonna feel the pain in just a second as he's arriving here. Keep in mind he still has a Town Portal, so you know, if he's getting caught in an awkward position, he's gonna be able to use that one. And killing all of these Acolytes is definitely worth it. 2 are falling, the third one is falling, the fourth one is actually allowed to run away here. It's like Protois is gonna try and go for the kill on the Haunted Goldmine. Another Fiend is coming in. Is Nova going to arrive? Looks like the answer is no. But with Dark Ranger still has kept the Orb of Darkness here. Not quite sure. Well, silence on all 3 of Protois' heroes here. The one Fiend of Protois is falling immediately. Level up for the Crypt Lord, level up for the Death Knight of Lucifer. But this is not a fight that Protois is going to be able to take by any means. Both of the Destroyers are being wept immediately. Next silence is coming in, and the Lich of Protois is falling. That's not going to make things any easier as well. I'm assuming the Destroyers will be taken down quite quickly. And yeah, the Dark Ranger actually has skilled Life Drain second here instead of the Dark Arrow. Crypt Lord has to run. Death Knight of Protois still has plenty of mana, but is he gonna get in range here in time? The Lich also has a Nova remaining. Coil is coming onto the Crypt Lord in time. The next Fiend is not being taken down as it's burrowing in time. Destroyers, surprisingly enough, are still alive on the side of Protois, who for some reason just refuses to pull his Town Portal here. The next Destroyer is falling. This one is gonna be falling as well. And now it's only the 2 heroes left standing. GG by Protois. Well, a rather standard Twisted Meadows Fiend Mirror. A lot of creeping during most of the game. Lucifer in every single engagement coming out on top though. Protois giving his opponent quite a bit of an edge early on when he lost a couple of Fiends, while Lucifer basically didn't lose anything. And I guess the main factor was just that fight on the left-hand side after Protois had crept parts of that Goblin Laboratory. Lucifer just came out so far on top, I guess about a 20 supply advantage On top of things, in the meantime, he got that expansion up, Protois. I guess at that point it was quite clear that he was lost already. So even though, I guess, from a neutral perspective, pulling the town portal quite quickly would have given him the best chances, those chances were still close to 0. And he decided to just basically go all out and continue fighting in a position where he wasn't able to win that fight by any means. Lucifer takes the first map. Second map will be Turtle Rock.